I'm delighted to get a chance to hear from Phil Watterson and hear a little bit about his story. So, Phil, why don't you initially just tell us, for those that don't know anything about you, just a few headline introductions.
Okay, so I'm Phil. I'm married to Ruth. We have two kids, Addie and Chuck. Addie is 13, Chuck is 8. We've been in Manchester for almost 4 years now. Prior to that, we lived for 12 and a half years in Marseilles, which is in the south of France on the Mediterranean coast.
Very good. Why don't you just tell us how sort of faith became real for you?
I was blessed to have been brought up in a home with parents who love Jesus. And I do have a memory of probably about age 7 or 8 actually praying a prayer, asking Jesus to come into my life and be my Lord. But I kind of journeyed with that, and so had other experiences of that just helped my faith to grow. I think when I was about 10, I had a significant encounter with the Holy Spirit, so quite young. And then probably first year of university, had a bit of a crisis of faith. Didn't know what I really thought, was trying to work things through, and just found God draw me back to the simplicity of being someone who sought after Jesus. Even if I hadn't got all my questions sorted, I felt like God was calling me to be a seeker of Jesus, and I've tried to do that probably ever since.
Very good. Well, that's a great thing to do. And so that start of university, how old are you now? That was what?
I'm 43 now.
Right, sorry, yeah, I'm really revealing it all, making you reveal it all. It would be great just to hear a little bit of what the journey's been like since then, and maybe particularly ways that you feel like God's helped you to grow and things that have been significant in your growth, and the way He's led you into different sort of times of your life.
Yeah, well, different ways God's led us. Ruth and I were living together in Oxford after we got married, and we were there for a few years when we felt God speak really clearly through a prophetic word, actually, about moving to France. That was quite a dramatic experience, and we kind of got ready to make a real change of life. And we were so blessed in the way that God met us in that. We found God opening all sorts of doors to find somewhere to live, to find jobs in Marseille really quickly, and move out there to get involved in planting a small church. So that was quite a dramatic experience of how He spoke prophetically into our lives, and that shaped us. Probably another experience of God speaking to us in a really significant way was when we'd been living in Marseille for a while, and we were wanting to start a family, and it wasn't happening, and it was quite a difficult time for us, and we just started to cry out to God and to pray to Him, and we were starting the process of applying for approval to adopt. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, but one evening Ruth and I were reading the Bible together, and it was just a verse that jumped out of the Bible. It was in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 4, which said, "Your sons will come from afar, and your daughters will be carried on the arms." And although these verses were written thousands of years ago in a completely different context, somehow God had taken that and spoke to us about the journey of adoption, of international adoption that He was taking us on. And this was before we'd been approved to adopt. And it just gave us such a confidence and a conviction that was the path that He'd got for us. And that's really shaped the way our family looks now, as those who know us will know.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, just quickly to sort of finish then, as you look forward, any things that you feel God's particularly put on your heart, or whether either sort of general or specific, that you say, right, well, we had this season in Marseille, we felt God lead us to adopt. What does life look like for you now, and what's particularly in your heart?
But what I've particularly got on my heart, and Ruth shares this, is just a desire to see God moving and working where we live here in Stretford. We want to see men and women come to know Jesus and become followers of Jesus. I'm really excited at the moment. I'm involved in leading an alpha course. We've just got started with that. There's 7 guests on that. A number of them are from Stretford. So just excited to see God moving and what He's going to do with that.
Brilliant. Well, Phil, thank you so much for sharing. Just brilliant to get a brief window into your life, your family, and how God's led you and spoken to you. So really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been good to talk.